ostomy, one of the little cylinder things, that's what patients like the best because they don't splash as much as the stool happens, stool have work, to measure their stool and their urine output. We send them out with a measuring a piece of paper for them to record on it, so when they come back to clinic, we actually can see what's going on with them, and if there's certain times of the day their output is higher. If I think they don't know what a liter is or a quart is, or they may not have stuff at home to measure it, I feel very free to go into Clean Holding and I grab irrigation fluid bottles. They're great, they're super tight lid, and I will mark on them, cross off, and I say, no, this is not what I want you to use. I mark where the liter of water comes up to, and I say, you fill this up every day, and I may have them add stuff to it, and this is what you need to get in over the course of the day. I also have used the pitchers, bedside pitchers, which have nice markings on them, although it only goes to 900 mils. I don't know what that's about. It should go to a liter, but anyway, they fill it to the very, very top. It's a liter. And then pill crushers, if I needed to crush pills, because a lot of these patients, they get better efficacy when we crush it versus the tab that goes through, totally undeployed. I would ask for a Silent Night for Christmas. I wish I had stock in this company, but these are the slickest things. They just pulverize, and you don't have to be strong. You just they work really easily. Mortar and pestle work, and it's a little baggy and a hammer. Okay, how can we prevent dehydration and readmission in a patient who develops a high output? Okay, prior to discharge, set clear goals for both urine and ostomy output and tools to achieve this. Provide inconsistent diet. This is what was happening when we actually looked into this. We found out the women ostomy nurses were telling them one thing, the floor nurses were telling, the doctors were going in and telling them. They were getting so, I meet them in clinic and they were like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So we totally changed that, and then enlist a multidisciplinary plan. And so A and C, of course, right? So what's the plan? So here's what we do now. So we want our patients to demonstrate that they need 1,200 mils of urine. They have to be off IV fluids. So if I get wind that they're thinking about sending them home, I'm like, stop that IV fluid, because we want to watch them for a couple of days. You run IV fluids up until midnight last night. You're still peeing that stuff out. So if you send it out this morning and you go, oh, their output, urine output's great, you're still looking at the results of IV fluid. So you really need to give them a good couple of days to see what they're going to look like eating and drinking off of IV fluids. 3 days is really probably better. We've totally honed in on our pre and post-op education. And so if you haven't done this, this is the ticket, is to look at what your hospital is doing. And what we found out is what everyone said was supposed to happen. It wasn't, when we actually met, they went, yeah, no, it's actually not happening. So we found out all these things that were supposed to be in place weren't. So all that is now in place. So we've got a clear diet, and our women ostomy nurses are so awesome about it. Sometimes they've actually jumped to it before us, but we make sure that they get the urinal and the stool hat or the cylinder. We tell them how much urine they need to be making. We have a one-page, we kept it very simple, diet sheet on what we want them to eat and drink, how much volume, and the meds, going over the meds. We want patients to measure urine stool. If I have a patient who says there's no way I'm doing both of those, I say measure urine. Because if they're not absorbing, they can't make the urine. So I'm going after what I can see that they're absorbing or not. And so that would be my number one thing. And then give them set goals. And then the fluids, our diet now is 80 ounces of fluid a day. And if their urine output isn't 1,200 mils, they've got to drink more. And if they're a known high output, then that's when we enlist the diet that has no data to support it, but we do it for a while, and I'm certainly seeing effects of patients when they're not drinking that quart of soda a day. And then we want them to weigh themselves twice weekly, because nothing shows weight loss faster than dehydration. Periodic labs. This is a thing I want to start doing more of. That at the 3-month, 6-month, 1-year mark, I want us to be getting labs on these patients to show that in fact their kidney function is being protected. And then we now have a follow-up, 1-week follow-up by phone. The unit dietitian who is in charge of this, I'm her backup, so if she can't get to it, then she calls me and says, I need you to call this patient. We created a template in Epic of the questions that we ask the patients, and if they're not making the urine, if they've been to an outside facility for a dehydration admit or anything like that, we will get them back to UVA much quicker. We ask about stones, and again, any IV fluids anywhere. So, the article that I mentioned to you that really goes through this talk and in much more depth is available on our website at www.ginutrition.virginia.edu, and there's a whole host of other materials there. In fact, the entire practical gastroenterology series is there. But for this talk, there's an ostomy article there. There's a fistula, the sore bottoms. Patients don't have an ostomy, but they're continent. And then a lot of patient education, and then a book. And so I cannot believe I have cough drops to spare. I thought I was going to have to be sucking on these. Made it through. So, any questions? Yeah.